What's up? This is Krash with video game reviews. I'm going to do 3 games from 360 that I particularly like and that I'd also like to point out. The first one is Portal 2. I don't have the covers to these because normally when I get a game, I take them out of the covers and I put them in my own CD case, and I pretty much throw away the covers. So actually those other games you saw, the PS3 ones, I'll probably end up throwing those covers away. I just don't keep them. Portal 2. Portal 2 is really awesome. It is fun. It is challenging. And it is very creative, very sharp, and it looks really good. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give this game, hands down, a 10. Right off the bat. Like, this game is amazing. The music is good, the sound effects are good, the storyline is good, the levels are good, the graphics are good. It is amazing. And the storyline is actually pretty decently lengthy and and the game itself is very challenging. If you don't know anything about Portal, basically what it is you have a gun that can create portals. And you have to go through these levels and solve them by using your portal gun. It has all different ways you can use your portal gun, you know, and all kinds of stuff. Like the puzzles and the levels, at first, they're kind of a little easy once you get to know the game. But then later on, it gets really confusing. I know there were some levels I was stuck on for months. So it gets good. It gets really challenging, and if you're up for a good challenge, Portal 2 is definitely one if you haven't tried it yet. Really makes you use your brain a lot. I just can't say enough about this game. Like, this game is really good. If you haven't tried it, try it. If you haven't played the first one, play it too. Portal is a really good game, and it's funny because Portal started out as just this little itty-bitty tiny game on the orange box. And it blew up. Everyone liked it. Almost as much as Half-Life. Sometimes some people won't even play Half-Life. They just want to play Portal. This game has a lot to offer. It even has comedy in it, you know, seriousness, some pretty awesome, you know, it doesn't have any FMVs, so if you like FMVs, it has none. Except, like, well, there is a few here and there, but they're actually, like, part of the gameplay. It's just, it goes into a moment where you don't really, you can still control your character, but there's, like, storyline stuff happening. So, it's actually like playing a game in an FMV. Instead of playing a game and then at a certain point you reach a point and then it's an FMV. It's not like that. It is a really good game. Check it out. The second one, and as you guys know, this was released not too long ago. And this game I love. Duke Nukem Forever. I have been a fan of Duke Nukem ever since it came out. It's funny, really, really funny. It's got a lot of action. It's always extremely challenging, and not just the combat side of it, you know, and killing the creatures, and, you know, the levels themselves are really extremely inventive, and it definitely changes up the level style. And almost every level has a different feeling, and you do different things in the level. You got to be really good at jumping in the level. If you're not good at jumping in a first-person shooter, this game will make you good in jumping in a first-person shooter. The game overall, though, I did feel was a little short. It could have been longer, but it was really good, and it did a lot of ode to the older Duke Nukem games. So there was a lot of nostalgic value to it, and and if you're a nostalgic gamer like I am, it was really awesome. I have beaten the game, and the storyline is actually pretty interesting. And it also leaves at the end for another new Duke Nukem game to come out in the future. So it's set up for more Duke Nukems to come out, which is always good. So I definitely highly recommend it. Scale of 1 to 10, 11. I'm that serious about it. Like, it is above my scale. This game is just, it's challenging, it's fun, every level is different. Every level has a different feel, a different theme. Okay, maybe I might give it a 10 because I drop it down to a 10 because I forgot the game itself could have been longer, but overall the game is really awesome. And if you haven't tried it yet, get it, try it if that's your kind of thing. If you like Duke Nukem, definitely do it. It's definitely for previous fans of Duke Nukem. As far as people who've never played any Duke Nukem games, I would still recommend it. Just to give it a shot, especially if you like first-person shooters. Give it a shot, even if you've never tried any of the Duke Nukem games. But if you are a Duke Nukem fan, you've probably already played it, and if you haven't, do it. Because you're a Duke Nukem fan, you're going to love it. And then the third game is an unexpected game that, in and of itself as a game, it's really good, but let me just show it to you. Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters. This game, in my opinion, is actually pretty solid. I've beaten it as well. I've beaten all three of these, actually. Ghostbusters, in my opinion, is solid because the sound effects are good. The sound effects are, in fact, perfect. Like, you really feel like you're a Ghostbuster. Only thing I wish you could have done was maybe, like, made your character instead of just play as some dude. But basically the storyline is you're a fifth member of the Ghostbusters and you're an experimental weapons tester. Well, it is not just that, though, because the storyline goes really deep, you know, into this whole, where you're basically, through the levels, you're working up to, like, this final spirit that you gotta battle against, where you gotta fight all these other guys that are kind of like his lackeys. So it's actually has a very solid storyline. There's a lot of comedy in it, especially with Peter Venkman's character. He's usually the comedy pickup for the game, actually. But the comedy is definitely style of Ghostbusters. It did kind of feel like he always said like the same thing all the time. So I'm not gonna, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm not gonna give it a 10. I'm gonna give it an 8. Only because some of the things felt a little repetitive. The jokes were the same exact jokes cracked in the movies, which isn't necessarily bad, but it kind of got a little repetitive. So that, in my opinion, that is the actual downside of the game. The game itself was actually kind of pretty decently lengthy. I mean, it wasn't too bad. The combat, it was interesting because you can upgrade your weapons and stuff. You can upgrade your your proton pack, and you can upgrade all of that, and you can get upgrades on like your scanner and all kinds of things. So it's actually got some upgrade quality to it, an upgrade style to it, where you can upgrade. It's not just going around busting ghosts and that's it, I wish they would have added a feel like the original Ghostbusters game. I don't know if you guys played it. You can like go around the city, and I wish that this one would have allowed you to actually do that, where it allowed you to openly go around the city and do basically some open missions that were not the campaign missions. I wish it would have had that. If it would have had that, then it probably would be a 9, maybe even a 10 on my list. It would have made up for the fact that some jokes were reused. And so it would have given it a little bit more quality. So hopefully if they do make another Ghostbusters game, because new Ghostbusters movie should be coming out, I think, next year. Could be wrong. Maybe it might come out this year. I don't know. Um, so maybe if they make a game off of that movie, maybe they hopefully some kind of producer or developer will pick it up and actually let it to where you can actually go around the entire city of New York and do some free missions as well as the campaign missions, which if it did that, then the game would definitely be really good. That was the only thing that it felt like it was missing, because you're actually in the Ghostbuster house, in the firehouse, and you can get walk around it during and talk to the different Ghostbusters. So, sorry, it was really interesting. Slimer kept escaping. It even has the poster, or it even has the big picture of the main bad guy from Ghostbusters 2, the movie. So it was really interesting. You actually fight Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and that was quite an interesting battle too. You actually fight him on the city streets of New York, and then you end up in a building and you fight him at the top of the building. But see, you fight him all the way, like through the streets, all the way through the building till you get to the very top. It even has the level in the very first movie, the very first mission they went on in the hotel, Sedgwick Hotel. You actually go back to the Sedgwick Hotel. And you also have a mission in a courthouse, too. So it kind of goes back to all the scenes that were in the Ghostbuster movies, both of them. But it moves on with the storyline, and there's other bad guys that just end up taking you back to the same places you've been before in the movies. Which is cool, because it was kind of like this nostalgic feel of like, wow, I'm actually like playing the movies, both of them. It didn't go in any certain order of the movies, though. It was kind of like, oh, this is a level from Ghostbusters 2, or, oh, this is a level from Ghostbusters 1, back and forth, you know. But I think that's what actually made it good, is that it didn't actually try to do the storyline of the Ghostbusters movies, which in my opinion, if it would have, it wouldn't have did as well. Providing a new storyline that people have never seen is actually what made it good. Otherwise, I don't think it would have been as good. So those are my three 360 games that I particularly like very well, that I've actually beaten and been all the way through. I haven't done all the unlocks, but I have played through the game fully. I also might like to add that Portal 2 is also online. There's a co-op mode for Portal 2, and the levels are completely different, and you have to solve them way different than you would think in the co-op mode. So, you know, you got a friend, you know, you both can jump on Portal 2 and do co-op mode, and that is really, really fun. You have to be very, very good with teamwork, though. Like, you got to be very tight with the person you play with. They got to be able to read your every move, and you got to be able to read their every move, so you can work together to beat the levels, because they get really challenging. But there's my 360 reviews. Next reviews I'm going to do is some Nintendo Wii games that I particularly like, and that's it. This is Krash. Signing out. Peace.